everybody. Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Tuesday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about. It is NXT versus TNA Showdown tonight. And that is going head-to-head with AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. 4.5 hours of Tuesday Night Wrestling. As the NXT show's usual 2 hours, Dynamite is going to be 2.5 hours, which is interesting as we can talk about here a little bit later on. But anyway, we'll give you the lineup for both of those shows. Tomorrow, there is nothing on television, although there is a AEW Collision show, and we can tell you what is on that show. And then, of course, you know, we got everything coming up this weekend. It's a very busy weekend. We have got Bound for Glory. The go-home show for that is on Thursday. We have New Japan King of Pro Wrestling with Takeshita versus Zack Sabre for the world title. We got WWE Crown Jewel. Of course, we'll be talking about the go-home Raw show for Crown Jewel when we come back from the break. And then, of course, all of the other news as well. There's an update on Raja Jackson. He will be facing 2 charges. We'll tell you about that. Came out in the LA Times today. Roosh made an interesting comment today, of all days. We've got some notes on the Nielsen ratings and Max, as well as the TNA Hall of Fame. So if you want to join us here today, you can always text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com, as well as F4W Online Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez, X and Blue Sky. Should grab a Cameo, by the way. There's always a good reason to get a Cameo. F4W Online on Cameo. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
A special guest, a returning guest, Kenny Omega. How's it going?
It's going well.
You were our most popular guest ever since the days of Bruno Sammartino, who was our previous most popular guest.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Tell us a little bit, I guess, about like just the recovery from everything that you went through.
Told everyone beforehand, I said, hey guys, like, look, I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe there's a flu going around. I might have COVID again or something, but I really don't feel reliable right now. I feel like I could just keel over and have to go into the fetal position, because when these pains hit, it's really bad. I said, I look at myself in the mirror. I said, I feel like really pale, really blue. It was like a heating pad or meant for like a shoulder injury. But I was just kind of like clutching onto it, like backstage. And I'm like, oh, and I was kind of doing like the old Mankind, you know, when he was sitting in the corner and you kind of like rock back and forth. I'm doing that with this device. And they said, yeah, do you mind coming back and just being prepared to stay in the hospital for quite a while? And I'd said, if that's what we need, then that's what we'll do. And I said, I'll pack a bag, like a little gym bag, and I'll head to you guys tomorrow, like first thing. They said, no, like you need to come now. And I said, oh, come on now. It's like, I just got home. Like, at least let me, like, I'm kind of in pain and stuff. Is it okay if I just rest, take it easy, and then show up? And they're like, well, we don't want to like worry you or anything, but you could be at risk of dying. So like, you need to come in. Okay, all right.
Man.
Gate's closed. I'll be right there.
Man.
So yeah, and then that sort of was the start of a bit of a process. And they had said, hey, have no expectation. Just go into this thing, into your recovery, being happy with any positive improvement. And that actually helped to hear that. You know, not to be too hard on myself or to beat myself up over not seeing immediate improvement. I got myself into a position where I felt like, yeah, maybe I can do this again. And the Tokyo Dome show came and went, and I was extremely happy with it. And I thought like, well, if that's the last one ever for me, then boy, I'm satisfied with that. And I'm always very thankful that when I have a performance that I feel does not disappoint fans or myself, it's something to hang my hat on. So that's where I'm at right now, I guess.
Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm is joining us here today. Got a lot to talk about.
Do we now?
Well, you watched Raw, didn't you?
I did.
And I'm sure you got a lot to say about Raw.
It was a struggle to get through because I had a insanely busy day that occupied a lot of my evening, but I got through it.
Well, we'll get into that after a while, but of course, tonight is the
showdown.
It's actually a triple showdown. We got NXT versus TNA versus AEW is what's actually going on. So, this is what's happening, everybody.
The three major promotions are in a triangle war of sorts.
They are. NXT and TNA are directly facing off on the same show. Dynamite is on the other channel at the same time, and it's going 2.5 hours. Now, I got to mention this here. So, it's one of those things in wrestling, you do stuff and then, there's a result, and then you should look at the result and decide whether you want to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So, Dynamite went, last week's Dynamite also went 2.5 hours because it was, what was the special thing last week? Anyone remember? I can't remember what the deal was. But anyway.
6th anniversary.
Oh, yeah, the 6th anniversary show. So, of course, these numbers, it's the whole new way of rating the shows, which is kind of actually killing professional wrestling. But forget the actual overall show number because comparisons don't work anymore for any of these shows. But we can look at how did the rating go up and down during the course of the 2 hours. And what happened last week is they went an extra half hour, and the show died in that extra half hour. They were actually very steady for the first hour and 45 minutes. So, let's see here. Yeah, Dynamite on TBS. All the way from the Young Bucks opening angle opened at 5:43, and they stayed pretty much steady all the way through the 9:30 hour when they were at 477, which sounds low, but they started at 5:43, so they were only down about 50,000 viewers over the course of the entire first hour and 45 minutes. And then they lost 70,000 viewers for the main event, which, for those of you that don't remember, well, not the main event, the 9:45 segment, the normal main event time, was the Gates of Agony versus the Swirl. That died. They dropped down to 402,000. And then over the course of the next 30 minutes, they lost almost another 100,000 viewers. They ended up at 338,000 viewers for the end of the show. So anyway, the point is, that last half hour, the extra half hour, I should say, was not of value at all. If you look at the overall number of Dynamite, it hurt the show a lot. So, of course, you know where I'm going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tonight's Title Tuesday is an extra half hour as well. So, anyway, I presume the final half hour will also die, but, just got to keep doing the same things over and over. So, tonight has 2 title matches. Kyle versus Kyle for the TNT title. Fletcher versus O'Reilly.
Both these Kyles relives.
Yeah, both these Kyles. We got Mercedes Moné against a local wrestler from Florida. Orange Cassidy versus Pac. The Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate in a street fight. Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita, double jeopardy, meaning there's no titles on the line, but if anybody beats anybody else, that person's title is going to end up being on the line in the future. Jon Moxley versus Ishii, Jurassic Express in action, and Samoa Joe and Hangman Page go face-to-face. So I do not expect this show to do well at all. I mean, they have promoted NXT. Whatever you think about the booking, and I've had a lot to say about it, they have promoted it very hard. It's on its normal night. Dynamite is not on its normal night. It doesn't have a huge lineup. So I think it's going to be pretty one-sided shellacking here.
Well, Dynamite will be a good show, but any time a show moves to a different day, you're at a huge disadvantage. Nobody needs to get bent out of shape. If Dynamite were to beat NXT, that would be something newsworthy.
That would be very newsworthy.
But if NXT wins, it's their night. It's a big show, and next week we're back to different nights again. So nobody needs to get too upset.
So everyone's asking about Santos Escobar, and brother, he could be there tonight. His deal expired. He doesn't have a no-compete. He literally could have signed at 12:01 a.m. with AEW, and there was a quote. Well, from him, he basically tweeted out like forward in Spanish, and then Rush actually did a tweet. The time has come for LFI to get bigger. We will rule the world. That's what he wrote today. So I think, I'm not reporting this. I just want to make that abundantly
You're reporting
clear.
that you think it, not that it's happening.
I think there's a very good chance Andrade, or not Andrade, I'm sorry, he's already there. Santos Escobar shows up tonight. Which actually I bring up Andrade because I'd been asked, like, do you really sign this guy? You just signed Andrade. It's been like a week or two. Like, and to me, yeah.
Hey, that Don Callis family needs members.
Well, I think that LFI should get even bigger. So you'd have Rush, Dralistico, Mortos, Sammy Guevara, Santos, and I guess if you wanted to, Andrade as well. And then they could actually take over. You could have tag teams. You could have six-mans. You could actually do something with some of these guys like Rush, who are underutilized, and Beast Mortos obviously is underutilized. I think there's a chance he shows up tonight because it is a live show. It is a battle. It ain't much. You may as well do something to like get people talking. Maybe they'll hear about it and switch the channel. Who knows? But I think there's a decent chance that happens tonight.
It was a big part of the Monday Night War, and what made it interesting was the jumping back and forth.
Yes.
So I could certainly see doing it for the sake of having it appear like more people are jumping one direction than the other.
Then we've got the NXT TNA Showdown with Team NXT, Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, Miles Bourne, and Javon Evans versus TNA's Mike Santana, Frankie Kazarian, Moose, and Leon Slater. And they have added Joe Hendry, or Joe Henry, as we sometimes like to call him.
Like I predicted.
As the guest referee. Team NXT women, JC Soul, Jada, and Lola against Team TNA's Kalani Jordan, The Inspiration, and Mara Sade, with Jordan Grace as the guest referee. We've got NXT Tag Champs Dark State versus the Hardys, TNA Tag Team Champions, all belts on the line. And I presume, because they've announced the Dudleys will be there, that the Dudleys show up after the Hardys win and put them through tables, because they got that match coming up this weekend.
And I hope to heavens that they plug BFG.
Yeah, they will. I would be stunned if they did not. And then we got Ethan Page. Actually, I think they will for sure because they've already kind of plugged it because they've talked about how Leon Slater and Javon are wrestling on that show. So you'll get a plug one way or the other. Ethan Page, Mustafa Ali, and that is the lineup for the show. So, man, there's a lot going on tonight. And we will be doing So normally we do Observer Radio Wednesday night after Dynamite, but these shows are head-to-head tonight. There's no way I can get everything watched and do everything I need to do and do the show tonight. But Dave and I will be up tomorrow morning at about 9:30 or 10 a.m., and we'll do Wednesday's show early to cover all of this and more. So anyway, back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We reviewed this show as recently as 2021.
Impact's full 2005 Spike TV debut, episode 1, October 1st, 2005. We watched TNA Impact, October 1st, 2005. So we begin with the James Earl Jones voice guy. So it's dramatic TNA voiceover guy. Shane Douglas is an outstanding backstage interviewer. I had forgotten how much I loved Shane Douglas as a backstage interviewer. Wait, there's something going on in the back.
Right.
And we go from the back to the back. Something's never changed. What? There's a commotion in the back? Can we get a camera there? I'm like, oh, God. I'm already sick of the song. There are episodes we'll probably get to where I swear to God they play this 8 times.
I hated the Canadian Destroyer. Like, this was like everyone's favorite move during this period, and I hated this move. When I see a guy like Penta do a springboard into a destroyer, Penta does a springboard into a destroyer, but the problem is that PD stands completely still.
Yes.
And then he does the move. To stand there with someone in powerbomb position, it only works if you enter into it via some sort of maneuver. But when you run, there's at least the illusion that the run or the dive or whatever starts the momentum into the destroyer.
Shane put his ear to the door trying to spy on them.
Yes.
Like a creep. And he drops his head and his ear down to the door to try to spy on them. I love it. 3 Live Crew are that perfect mix of sports and entertainment. So we're told they are the perfect mix of sports and entertainment. They will be kept in a room without food, water, or light. They are locked alone in a dark room with no food, no water, and no light. Do you know what I forgot about TNA that I do like?
This I gotta hear.
The Abyss song. So I had forgotten one of my favorite things about TNA this time. The Abyss song. Go, go Abyss, go, go Abyss. That's awesome. Go, go Abyss, go, go Abyss. But he comes out to his god-awful TNA music, the horrible Dr. Dre toy piano ripoff. Dr. Dre had a hit song here that started with a toy piano over a cool beat. TNA did their best to steal this idea. They failed.
That's not bad. Alrighty, back on the show. Any other comments on NXT versus TNA tonight, Lance?
No, I'm just looking forward to it.
All right. Great.
Well, what's there to comment? It'll be a good show.
How do you think this is going to play in a Bound for Glory? What would you do, since you don't know what's going on ever?
Well, again, I think it's important in the men's match to have interaction and hype for Javon and Leon. And I think it's very important to, in the post-match of the tag team match, have at least a face-to-face stare down with the Hardys and Dudleys, because it's in front of a predominantly WWE audience, which Dudleys versus Hardys would mean the most for. So if you're going to send new viewers to Bound for Glory, I think the Dudley's Hardys hype is going to be a big draw. So I'm hoping that really gets a strong plug and sends some people live in attendance to the building in Lowell, Mass, and some people to either TNA Plus app or pay-per-view to see this thing.
Well, I'm looking at this Bound for Glory show, and of course, as I looked at the Showdown card, I tried to do my who beats who math, and I concluded that we got to split it 50-50. And so Team TNA, which is all TNA wrestlers, they're going to lose. So Team NXT, the males win that one. And then for the females, the Team TNA side is really all, it's WWE alumni, basically. So they'll win that one. That's TNA's win. And then the Hardys, they're alumni, so they'll win the title match. And then Ethan Page beats Ali.
They are also the biggest stars on the show.
I look at this like it's still, there's no reason. Bro, and it's 2025, okay? It's not, even the 90s it was stupid. In the early 2000s when they did WWF versus WCW and WWF owned WCW and ECW and they still had to put their own guys over. It doesn't matter. Like if you are a fan of NXT and you do some NXT TNA matches and like TNA guys are allowed to win, you really think that your fans are going to stop watching your show and go watch TNA? Of course not. It's stupid, but we still have this ego. And so I look at that lineup and I'm like, it made no sense on television. It was stupid, but I see why they did it. So politically, they really win every match, even though it's 50-50. So now I'm looking at Bound for Glory. And the reality is, I think finally we're going to see some stuff happen. It's been a long time. So there are a number of matches here on this show. And tying it all together, I believe that Mike Santana is going to win the TNA title from Trick. That's your TNA win. I believe that Indy Hartwell is beating Kalani Jordan. That's your TNA win. Because really, Kalani was never supposed to be champion. This whole thing was a whole rigmarole. It was supposed to be
Ash.
It was supposed to be Ash
versus Indy.
But then we had anyway, the whole thing went down. So, I think that Kalani was never supposed to even be in this match or be champion. So I think Indy wins. So now it's 50-50. And then
Indy's a TNA person and Mike Santana's an Indy person. That's 2-0.
Oh, well, yeah, so 2-0. But then I think that the Hardys, obviously the titles aren't on the line. But anyway, with the whole point of this is Siobhan ain't winning. He ain't winning. He's losing to Leon Slater. It's just the way it is. I could have told you that without even doing all this mathematical shenanigans, but he's losing to Leon Slater. Guess that means that since the Hardys have the TNA titles, Kalani could beat Indy. So that's possible as well. But I think they're going to find a way to 50-50 it there as well. So, what could also do is...
With Kalani just winning the title and Indy getting her first Knockouts Championship title shot, it's certainly within the cards that they could start a Kalani Indy program here and not switch the belt.
True.
Or, again, depending on what Kalani's commitments are back in NXT or WWE, they might need to get her off our show. So I think that's a match that could definitely go either way.
All right. Roger Jackson will face 2 charges concerning his August attack on indie wrestler Psycho Stu Smith. First reported by the LA Times, Jackson will be charged with 1 count of felony battery that caused serious bodily injury.
It did.
And 1 count of misdemeanor battery. I never understand these things when they... How can you have a felony battery and also a misdemeanor battery for the same beating?
Is the misdemeanor for the spine buster and the felony for the ground and pound?
I don't know. Like, you laugh, but it's a good question.
I think it's probably a case of it's going to allow the judge or the jury to either charge him as a felony because they think it's super, super serious, or they could acquit him on the felony charge but convict him on the misdemeanor charge if they still want to punish him but not go all the way?
It actually is possible that one of them was the spine buster, as silly as that sounds, because the LA Times wrote prosecutors will seek a sentencing enhancement because Jackson allegedly caused Stuart Smith to suffer great bodily injury. Smith, known as Psycho Stu in the ring, lost several teeth and suffered a laceration to his lip during the attack, which saw Jackson body slam the wrestler and then punch him in the head and face more than 20 times. So I guess it's possible the slam is the misdemeanor, although I don't get it.
I think it just allows them to throw the book at him, so to speak, if they think it's serious enough and charge him with a felony. And if they decide he should be punished, but let's not go overboard here because it was a pro wrestling match, then they can go misdemeanor.
I guess, but I mean, if you watched it, it's like, I see nothing misdemeanor about this. I mean,
no, it was.
And
Those
it's all
20
on
punches
tape.
were awful violent.
Yeah, it's all filmed start to finish. I mean, I don't see how I don't see any way he just like gets off. There's just too much evidence. It's all right there. Everybody has seen it. So, see what happens, but that's what he's been charged with. Felony and misdemeanor battery. There's a note from WrestleNomics, which comes as no surprise. But max viewership is not included in the Nielsen ratings for Dynamite or Collision.
I would hope
I think
not.
we knew that. At some point it might be, but now it is not. So Dave wrote regarding big data and panel, Nielsen now combines data from its traditional panel homes with information from internet-connected smart TV, set-top boxes, other devices. Updated methodology also accounts for viewing in public settings, bars, restaurants, which was a significant factor previously difficult to measure. Formerly, most of the data came from 40 to 45,000 Nielsen homes. Now there is data from more than 45 million homes and 75 million devices, which will provide far more data. You know what is like, I don't know, man. I'm going to make some people really mad, but you know what? Too bad. So,
Not the first time.
you know how we always talk about these wrestling ratings, and as TV changes and everything, we've seen like the wrestling ratings have gone down and down. I'll just give you a good example. When Dynamite debuted, their very first show did 1.4 million viewers. Okay? And then like the very next show it was like 1.1, and then it was down below 1 million. And you know, people have been doing the whole, when's it gonna get 1 million? You know, this whole stupid thing. And so then everyone gets in fights. And it's for WWE as well. Like when they debuted, like people forget, their first SmackDown on Fox did 4 million viewers. They never came close to that again. The first show always does sky high, and then it settles in about 3 weeks later, okay? But everyone, you know, if you hate AEW, you got to bring up, well, they started at 1.4 million. If you hate WWE, well, SmackDown started at 4 million. So anyway, everybody does the same thing, okay? Well, on both sides, if you're a fan and you want to defend it, what does everybody always say? I've heard this for years and years and years. Well, you know, people watch TV differently now. AEW, WWE, whatever, they got a lot of viewers, but now people watch on their device or they watch on this. Or I heard this for years. The reason the ratings were down was because people were watching it in different ways. Do you remember this? I heard this for years. Well,
Still hear it.
now they've actually changed it to this big data plus panel, and literally what this is monitoring all of those other things. And do you know what's happened? The ratings for all the wrestling shows are way down. So in fact, what it sounds like is what everyone claimed is actually the opposite. Wrestling fans don't watch on all of these other things. They were just watching on television. Obviously, you know, it's a blanket statement. Some people are watching on this or that or whatever. But the idea that vast numbers of people are watching through all of these different means, and that's why the television ratings were slowly declining, that's not the case. It's the case with like everything but wrestling. Good God almighty. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Actually, the most real person on the show, and I felt bad for this guy. And a lot of people have gotten on Bruce Pritchard, but I don't really actually blame Bruce for this.
Bruce did nothing.
No, poor Abyss is the agent for Seth Rollins and CM Punk on the Netflix debut, okay? And the story is that, you know, Bruce Pritchard goes, even though this is Netflix and everybody thinks we have unlimited time, we don't. There is a cutoff here, okay? And so he wants everyone to hit their time cues. And I did see people, you know, on the internet that are like, oh man, you know, what's Bruce talking about? There is no hard out. It's Netflix. You could go all night if you wanted. Listen, guys. If you want to get mad at Bruce for whatever you can, but there is supposed to be a hard out for Netflix.
Does
okay?
somebody think Bruce
I don't know
Pritchard
why
is in control of Netflix?
But the point is, I don't know why. I don't care, but there is, okay? Whatever you want to say. So anyway, you know, poor Chris Park, Abyss, is the agent for this match. And these two dudes are going long. And as soon as they start going long, I mean, Abyss is petrified. And he's trying to like tell him to hurry up, and he's trying to tell him what to cut, but at the same time he's like, I'm sorry, Bruce, I'm sorry. Like they're cutting out the Anaconda Vice. Yeah. He's like thinking he's gonna get fired on the spot. And you know, Bruce isn't actually even being really, he's just like, nothing we can do about it, you know? It's like you know, he's it's not like, you know, he's clearly not happy, but it's not like he's mad at Abyss. But he's not going to say anything to the guys either. You can just tell he's just like, he's quietly stewing because they can't just like get this thing done. But man, Chris Park is like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Like, they're going to the finish right now, sir. And he's like, he's petrified. And then
he turned into Joseph Park.
Oh yeah. And then like when it's over, you know, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. We tried to cut as much as we could. And Bruce's like, dude, it's okay. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. But and then he turns to Regal and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And Regal goes, it's not your fault, dude. You did your best. Like, just be happy with what you did. And Chris Park is like, I am. But you could see he's petrified. And I'm like, is this every day of this poor guy's life? Like, oh my God. I couldn't do this. But I felt so bad for him because he was so worried. And it's not his fault. He's like so trying to do his best. And I don't know, man. It was that was like a real moment. That was like kind of sad to watch, that he was just so worried when he was doing his best, dude. And like, if you want to get mad at somebody, you can get mad at Punk and Seth Rollins. They're the ones that went long. How in the world did that rant that I just go on, how was that choosing one side over the other? Are you kidding me? Every single wrestling promotion is down. Every single wrestling promotion has less fans than they've ever had before, probably.
Fewer.
Less.
Fewer.
So that's it. Dynamite has fewer fans. Collision, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA.
They actually have the same fans. It's just the previous method.
No, yes, that I'm talking over the last
number.
5 years, over the last 10 years, over the last 30 years. Guys, there probably were a good 10 million people watching wrestling during the Monday Night Wars every Monday night. There aren't 10 million people watching any show. If you add all of them up, I'm not even sure there's 10 million for every single solitary show. But that doesn't mean that wrestling is dead, okay? If you want to be a successful wrestling company, honestly, it isn't even the number of viewers. This goes for Dynamite and Raw. All it means is you have to provide a product where enough people are willing to pay enough money to keep you. This is any business, not just wrestling, okay? It doesn't matter how many people are watching on Max. It doesn't matter how many people are watching on Netflix. It doesn't matter how many people are watching on TV. What matters is, do they run Monday Night Raw and sell 11,000 tickets at high prices? Yes. Did they make $1 billion television deals that are going to 10-year deals, if I recall? Yes. Did Dynamite sign a whatever it was, $250 million or whatever it was through 2027? Yes. How many people are watching TNA? I have no earthly idea. The number could be 500 people in the world. If they can
that's low.
If they can get a $30 million annual deal for television on the CW, and they can manage to sell X number of tickets and be profitable on their shows or whatever, then who cares? They stay in business and they're a success. That's it. So what are we all fighting about here? It's just simple business. WWE could have 7 people watching on Netflix every week. Who cares? They got $1 billion deal, and all the wrestlers are making a lot of money, and those 7 people have 5,000 friends each that buy tickets to all of these shows at gigantic ticket prices. So, like, who cares? It's going to be fine. But it's not what it used to be in terms of overall fandom in, except maybe CMLL. They actually might be doing, like, really well.
Just watch and support the wrestling product you enjoy. And enjoy it.
Yeah. Everyone shut up about it. Okay. What did you think? We are talking about Raw. Roman Reigns came down to the ring, and he's interrupted by Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. And long story short, they are going to have an Australian street fight at the pay-per-view. They ended up having a big brawl afterwards. And interestingly enough, Roman Reigns got the better of the brawl. And this is the go-home show. So, brought this up with Dave last night. They are in Australia. Bronson Reed is, I mean, he's a hometown guy. It's a street fight. That means anybody can interfere, anybody can run in, anybody can get involved.
You could hit the dude with a dingo.
I think Bronson might be winning this match. I know that sounds hard to believe, but I think it's possible.
I think it would do way more positive for him than the loss would do negative for Roman, so I certainly wouldn't object to it. You want to put a dude on a map, this is a chance to really do it.
And Roman could easily survive a loss. It doesn't matter. Somebody can interfere to lead to a program with him, or some interference could backfire, you know. Jey Uso could screw up, running down, or I mean, there's a million things that you can do. But to me, it's like Bronson is a top guy, but he is slotted as the top guy that's going to be doing the jobs. And even though Braun's actually done a fair amount of jobs, I think you need to give the guy some big-time credibility in that group. And I think a win over Roman would do it. So that's my prediction. Adam Pearce met with Asuka. And Asuka has now forced Kairi to face Io Sky tonight. Io does not want to. Asuka slaps her. Kairi, whatever. God, how many people are involved in this thing? Asuka slaps Kairi because Kairi doesn't want to face Io in this feud with Rhea. Got it? I thought the segment was great. Tell me about Becky and Maxine. Where to begin, Lance?
Yeah, and this is a philosophy, and maybe I'm old and outdated, but I would rather see an extremely well-executed basic match than a match where they try to do more than basics. And to that end, because I am a stickler for safety, the power bomb that Maxine gave Becky
Hideous.
was executed not well. And because of it, not only did Becky land harder than she should have, she also smashed her head. And it's a common thing with wrestling, and some people just instinctively get it right away. Others have to be taught. But giving her the bomb like she did, you can tell she's thinking about what she has to do. Okay, I'll pick her up and then I sit out, rather than what she has to do to Becky, because she needs to start bumping Becky first and get her flat and then follow with her own. But she landed first, which makes the mat come back up at Becky when she collides. And Becky also didn't get flat, which leads to the whiplash and the smashing of the head. She may be fine. It's not like wrestlers don't bang their head, but with concussion concerns and protocols, I get worried.
I watched this match, and I was watching it early on, and I thought, is Becky trying to call a match in the ring with Maxine? It sounds like complete madness to try that. But, I mean,
I think it was
long headlocks. It was push them into the corner, and they had a conversation there before the next spot. It was weird early. And then they had a very simple comeback, but my God, this place got into this comeback. And then they had a hideous finish, which was they do this boom, 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 all these great moves, and the place is going nuts, thinking maybe Maxine's going to beat her, because Becky at one point kicked out at 3. And then Becky just threw her outside and beat her up for like 2 straight minutes, and then was being cocky and got counted out. I thought that finish absolutely sucked.
Well, you shortchanged the story in that there were the point where Becky got in to break the count and bullied Jessica Carr. And she yelled at Becky to get out of her face, and then when Becky went out the next time, once Maxine rolled in, Jess fast counted the last 2. I would not be surprised
it even worse
if they are going to reward Jessica Carr with a main roster match against Becky.
Oh, my God. I
She's
would be
a worker.
very surprised. I mean, it's possible.
But it was definitely an angle between the ref and Becky, because Becky bullied her in the corner over the counting out, and then when she rolled out, watch the count.
Well, I saw that, but I think it was less an angle with the referee and more an added, protect Becky, even though she's losing to Maxine. So not only did she get screwed by the referee, but she wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Because she gets screwed by the referee, then she's the babyface.
Well, I know. I didn't like any of the way they did the finish. I think the finish should have been give Maxine big move, big move, big move, big move, big move, and then Becky pulls the tights with the feet on the ropes, cheats to win because she was about to lose. I think that would have got Maxine over way bigger than this crappy finish. Am I wrong? We had a bunch of other segments here. Roman and Jay and Jimmy are all having problems. And then Lyra and Roxanne with Bailey at ringside, which bunch of shenanigans outside with Raquel and Bailey, and Roxanne hit the pop rocks, got the win. And then Bailey gets all angry, gets all heelish, and tells Lyra to come with her. They're going to beat him up backstage, which they do in a very violent manner. This show has gotten really weird. It's okay to have all right, this babyface is acting heelish. It's okay to do that every now and then, but it's everything on the show now is like this. The main angle, we're not going to have time to review this whole show, so I'm just going to get to the point. The main angle involves CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and Jimmy, okay? Everybody involved in this is a total jerk to each other. They're all acting heelish, but they're all baby faces. And then you've got, Becky gets screwed in a match with Maxine. And then you've got Bailey as a baby face, but she's also a heel. That's actually the gimmick. And now she's convincing Lyra to act heelish. I don't know, man. It's just too much on one show. The whole Io Kyrie thing. Kyrie's a heel, but she's with a heel who's forcing her to be a heel, even though she's a babyface. Any one of these would be fine. But we've got all of them on the show all at the same time.
Yeah, they're all interesting intellectual stories, but they aren't emotional stories that you can really invest in, because it's sort of I'm curious to see what happens rather than being emotionally invested in the outcome, which is, again, okay in smaller doses, but I think it's a lot when it's all up and down the card.
Well, yeah, but the main event is the Usos versus LA Knight and CM Punk. 4 baby faces, all acting heelish. And this it's actually very much like the SmackDown tag division was for a while, where they loaded up that SmackDown tag division with all of these like great teams. It's like, oh my God, what a division they're going to have. But what they did instead was they all just wrestled each other over and over again. They all traded wins. And it was like, there was no standout team. Everyone was just in the... And here, okay, Jay wants a world title. LA wants a world title. Punk wants the world title. The Usos, Jimmy wants the tag titles, I guess. I presume he wants the world title. I like that everybody wants the world title, but as I watch the feud, it's just like, okay, well, this guy got pinned this week. This guy got pinned last week. This guy got pinned this week. This guy's mad at this guy. This guy's mad at the other guy. They're all acting heelish, and they all want to go after the title, which is held by a heel. I don't care about this feud at all. Like, I'm not invested in it in any way. I don't care which one gets the shot. It's like, is someone going to turn? I don't know, man. This week, I guess who got pinned this week? Jay. Jay got pinned. Jay Uso just got pinned. Like, okay.
It's like the Super Bowl with 2 teams that you don't have a particular investment in who wins. It's like, oh, it's the Super Bowl, I'll watch, but you don't have that guttural emotional investment in your guy, because all of them can be your guy.
Well, also, they're all acting like jerks, so there's not even anyone that I want to see get the shot. Like, there should be someone you're rooting for.
Yes.
Like, oh, I want to root for this LA Knight. Oh, well, he just laid out Jimmy, who I like. Oh, okay, I guess. But then, and now he lost. I don't know. I don't like it at all, dude. And then we had the Judgment Day and Penta, AJ, and Dragon Lee. AJ and Dragon Lee, team of AJ Lee. They got the win. AJ hit JD with the Styles Clash and cut a promo on John Cena. And it was a funny promo. He basically built up the match just by saying, we don't need a story. It writes itself. I promise we'll leave it in the ring. It'll kick ass. That was his promo. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Check out this free video and make sure you hit like and subscribe.
If Truth didn't have the best weekend in this company, then Mr. Iguana did.
Oh, yeah, this guy is over, dude.
We'll get to him in the Worlds Collide review, but
He's got merch up on WWE shop.
he's going to make so much
He's got these
money.
kids that want to see more Mr. Iguana.
Yeah. So
His face paint is so funny.
I must stop you right here. It's not face
Oh,
paint.
would you stop?
It's head paint.
Yeah, it looks,
He paints his whole damn head.
it looks like he gets held upside down and they just dunk his head in green paint.
Yes.
It's absolutely bizarre.
And when he's not wrestling, he wears the round silver spectacles.
Yes.
And
He
he
flicks
flicks his tongue constantly,
Yes.
as an iguana would, and Del Toro and Octagon do whatever, and people are patient, but they don't care. And then Iguana tags in, and they are hyped. It took about 7 seconds to make himself my favorite luchador. He starts, I forget who he's in there with, but the guy offers a handshake, and so he licks it because he's an iguana, and then he gets hit with a shoulder tackle. Or it's a chop. He takes a chop. He drops to his back. He sticks all 4 limbs straight in the air.
Yes.
He's playing dead like an iguana would. So then he brings in the puppet. I didn't get the puppet's name. I should have used it 50 times. But it's an iguana puppet that he thinks is real. Well,
Already up on WWE shop.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You know if Harley Cameron's doll is on the AEW?
I do not know.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
So he starts doing spots with the puppet in his mouth. He lets the puppet try to get the pin. And amidst all the silliness, Conan says, you know this, Mr. Iguana, he's most popular with children.
I liked how as soon as the puppet started doing spots, Corey Graves goes, is that legal in Mexico? And without skipping a beat, Conan goes, yes.
low on the list of things you will see in a Lucha Libre match, especially in AAA. So he starts using the puppet more as a weapon, or as a distraction, I should say. But it ends up with Lindsay Dorado getting a hold of this puppet, and he snaps, and he stomps the puppet, and he grabs the puppet, and he Spanish flies the puppet. This crowd is outraged. They're pissed. They're furious. But you know he's even more pissed and furious?
It got more heat than anything else, maybe on the entire show,
Mr.
actually.
Goddamn Iguana.
They were
who's
furious.
Seething, and his eyes are breaking out, and he snaps and just rips ass. He grabs his own lizard and is whipping these guys with it. And then they remember it's just a puppet, and they stop selling.
This was a very, very fun match. I liked it a lot. And there's a lot to learn here about marketing.
Yeah.
Bringing the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. How'd you like that Alabama? Not only did they do my most hated move, the Alabama Slam, but it was an Alabama Slam in that Kyrie Io match on the edge of the ring apron.
Yeah, pretty much the back of her head to the ring apron. I saw that and thought that there's a chance she could have broken her neck or got knocked out and concussed. She seemed to be okay. She didn't show any ill effects. Am I right in thinking it was done during the break and they replayed it?
It was during the break and they replayed it.
I'm surprised they replayed it, to be honest. But she took an Alabama Slam later in the match, too. I hope she's okay. And I commented when I saw it online, it's like, please stop doing this. It's just too high risk, too dangerous. Please stop.
I don't want to blame the victim. I guess I kind of am, though. So Kyrie had her up, and if you watch it, it's like Kyrie doesn't move forward very fast. It's almost like Io just decided, I'm going to, lean back. I don't know, man.
Well, you want to lean back, but it's the distance you are from the apron when you start delivering the move. And the thing that's really dangerous is that Kyrie's head is underneath her, so she can't even watch until she connects to see where she is.
I know.
It's blind. It's dangerous.
All right, everybody, we're out of time. We'll be back later on tonight, the Bryan and Vinny Show. We've got 20 years ago on TNA Impact. You can watch it on TNA Plus. I believe they might also be on YouTube. But you can check that out tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. Thanks, Lance, as always. Callers and listeners up in the studio. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Alive.